Well, hi guys. Welcome back to this week's episode of the City Surrey Showcase. This week we're featuring Surrey artist Alexis Lynn. How are you doing today, Alexis?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, it's been busy few weeks, especially with the showcase, but we're so excited to have you and be a part of this and really getting to know you a bit better and highlighting your music and you yourself as a performer.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
No worries. Well, let's get into it. Let's take it back to the beginning. What was the first moment where you decided you wanted to pursue a career in music?
I think it was when I was really young and I knew I always wanted to be a singer. I remember listening to the radio all the time with my parents, like in the car at home, and I just remember hearing like so many amazing artists and thinking like, oh, I want to do that. And even, I had no idea what it really was, but I was like, I just want to do that. And as I got older, I begged my parents to put me into vocal lessons, so they finally did. So I think I always knew I wanted to be like a singer, but I started writing like songwriting around when I was like 16, and I think that's what really changed from me wanting to be a singer to wanting to be an artist. Because I felt like I had things to say, and I felt like I wanted to do my own music and to have my own approach to things and my own voice put out there.
Yeah, that's amazing, and it's great that you that clicked in so young, and it's like it seems that it's going well. And in fact, in 2020, you were recognized as a top 100 artist in the 2020 CBC Searchlight contest. A lot of artists happen to go through this contest. A lot of my friends have gone through this contest. Do you mind sharing your process and experience with the CBC Searchlight contest?
Yeah, I think CBC Searchlight is a great thing. It's voting, it's based on voting, like fan votes for the first couple rounds. And so it's really cool to see people like supporting each other and like having also just a community of support, which is really awesome. I think like every independent artist should enter it if they want to, and if they think, like, I personally had a great experience with it. It's a really cool way to get your music in front of some like bigger people, as well as just like the music community in general. You get to hear so many, I discovered so many amazing artists from that I had no idea existed before. And yeah, I think it's great. I think it's a great way to for independent artists to not only be a part of the community, but to get in front of some more important people as well.
Yeah, of course. And I feel like it's a good way to like get your footing into the ground because it is a national contest, right? So it's
Yeah,
like
exactly.
not only are you being exposed to the music community in Canada as a whole, like a bunch of independent artists, but you're also networking with um, those people in the industry that could potentially get your career somewhere or where you could be seen, right? Like I feel like it's a good platform in which people can just be seen and heard, and it seems like it was the same experience for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So you recently came out with an EP. Do you mind sharing a bit of the writing and recording process of it?
Yeah, I actually went down to LA in, I want to say 2018, but it might have been 2019. And
Mhm.
I did a writing trip down there. It was a 10 days, and I wrote a ton of music. And from that, we went through it, and I picked some of like the songs that I felt resonated the most with what I wanted to say at the time. Yeah, and I came out with my EP, Things Get Good, in September of 2019.
Mhm.
I think that was really big for me because that was the first kind of project that I put out. I had put out a single prior to that, a single that wasn't on the EP prior to that.
Mhm.
And then I put out three singles off of that EP. And to have a full project was really something that was really cool for me. So
Yeah.
hopefully next will be an album.
Yeah, so many artists I know personally and others I've known happen to go on these like big writing retreats where they almost find themselves because they're in a room with other like-minded people and they get
Hmm.
to bounce off each other's experiences and really provide feedback in how to enhance your lyricism and your music as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and this goes perfectly into our next question is that vulnerability is a theme that you explore quite a bit in your music. Was it hard for you to open up to your audience in such an intimate fashion and let them into your life on such a personal level?
Absolutely. I'm a very, like in my personal and everyday life, I'm a pretty generally private person.
Mhm.
And so I think that was a struggle for me for a long time was being able to open up to not only the people in my life but like general public. That's a whole different ball game. But I found music was the way that worked for me, and that's kind of how I express myself. And it is scary because you're kind of letting the whole world listen to this very intimate or vulnerable part of your life, or something that you've had in your head and your brain for God knows how long. And it's odd to think, when you think about it in that way, that everyone's just heard this intimate part of your life.
Mhm.
But I think it's important. I think that's what people love about music. I mean, that's what I love about music. When I hear my favorite artist, it's you hear something so personal, but somehow you can feel it relates to your life. So I think it's really important. It's scary, but I think that's one of my favorite parts about music.
I mean, honestly, saying like there's so many artists out there and so many favorite artists of mine who have shared their story in such intimate fashion through music, even though my experience might not have matched what they were going through in the process of their songwriting and being so vulnerable with their audience. But more times than one, I can always find a song or an album that resonates with me in such a different way and hits home in a different way for me than it does
Mm-hmm.
anyone else. But at the same time, I'm getting so much more insight into my favorite artists and what they happen to be going through during that time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I guess to close this interview off, if there was one piece of advice that someone could have given you as a young and upcoming artist in Surrey, what would it be?
Ooh. Um, I think a piece of advice that I've kind of gotten from other people and adopted and always want to share is to say yes to everything, to every opportunity, and to, especially I think like locally in Surrey, to be a part of the community, a part of live shows here, and like talk to other artists, find other artists, collaborate with other artists. I think there's so much talent here, and I really want to see Surrey build as a community more, because there's so many artists here, and I feel like there's so much talent that some people don't know about. So I would love to see that happen more, and just get out there and keep putting music out.
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about Surrey. Like we're on track to be the fastest growing city in Canada right now in terms of
Mm-hmm.
population and infrastructure wise. And sometimes it can be a little bit harder to find that artist community or that creative community in such a large populated area because people might not be aware of where to go for local gigs or where um, to find favorite artists within the local community or people just that they resonate with. And that's like the reason why we started doing the showcase in the first place, is to
Mm-hmm.
highlight these artists so people have a place to go and find a creative community and a music community within Surrey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Um, Once again, thank you for coming on. Last little bit, where can people find you? Where can they find your music? Where can they find you on social media?
All my social media tags are Alexis Lynn Music, and my website is alexislynnmusic.com, and you can find me on all streaming platforms as Alexis Lynn.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for joining us on this episode of the Music City Surrey Showcase. All of you, make sure to go follow Alexis Lynn everywhere and make sure to go listen to her music. And thank you for joining us once again.
Thank you so much for having me.
Crazy how I spent my whole life 100% in the spotlight. Don't let nobody in, it's my light. Worked every time until you never jumped the gun. Yeah, but you're blowing my expectations up. Yeah, to tell the truth, no, I'm not used to someone smart enough to call my bluff. With your T-line boots and that attitude, have to work to make you give up. If you're going to patient my mind, I think you realize I'm not fine. I always know that you'll be trouble. You got the pen and burst my bubble. Yeah, 'cause it feels so safe on the inside. Guess I'm just too eager with my white eyes. Why'd I give you power to burst my crazy, lose my mind. Mama told me I'll be fine. Put your bags down, won't you stay a while? Go the extra mile, yeah. To tell the truth, no, I'm not used to someone smart enough to call my bluff. But it's gonna be what it's gonna be. Hate that you make me wanna rush. If you go in a page of my mind, I think you realize I'm not fine. I always know that you'll be trouble. You got the pen, don't burst my bubble. Yeah, cause it feels so safe on the inside. Guess I'm just too eager with my white eyes. Why'd I give you power to burst mine? Bubble, 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 bubble. Bubble, 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 bubble. Until you're right, never jump the gun. But you're blowing my expectations up, yeah. If you could read a page from my mind, I think you realize I'm not fine. I always know that you'll be trouble.